Rafael Coscolluela is 74 summers old, as the Indians would say. It was his birthday yesterday. Gov Lito, as he is fondly known in Negros Occidental, started his political career on the same month of his birthday. He was appointed as acting or OIC vice governor when Cory Aquino was swept to power. Aquino, of course, is the housewife who made a campaign promise to make galunggong affordable to the masses. And that was the People Power Revolution, the part 1, not the part 2, which ousted ERAP, and the subsequent EDSA 3, or the Araw ng mga Maton. Today, we have Gov Lito with us. Gov, thank you for being here with us.
Joel, slight correction. I was not OIC Vice Governor. The OIC Vice Governor was Endong Dilag.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
With Bitay. But Bitay recruited me to run for Vice Governor in 1988. The first democratic elections after the Marcos martial law.
So you were the first elected vice governor in the province.
After EDSA. Yeah.
February, of course, aside from your birthday, you're still looking young at 74. And of course, Gov Lito is a survivor, political survivor, and a survivor in some other meaning of the word. EDSA is turning pila na? It's 35.
35th anniversary.
35th. I will start with that, Gov. Do we still care about EDSA?
Filipinos generally, I think, have become very indifferent. Nalipat na. Personally, I have very little reason to celebrate EDSA, no, because the supposed gains of EDSA gindula taman, no. The very sad reality is that we are almost back to the same situation that we tried to get rid of some tiempo sa EDSA revolution, no? The revolution was supposed to be for a radical change in Philippine politics and society. Then we had political oligarchies, dynasties, the elite control of the economy, etc. No? That's exactly where we are now. Balik mangyapon. No? So when you think about the celebration of EDSA, I would rather look at it as a commemoration of a victory, temporary as it was. We should commemorate, no, the miracle of EDSA, but celebrate. I'm a little reluctant because, as I said, there's very little to celebrate if you relate the gains of EDSA then, 1986, to where we are now. So kanugon lang, in other words, wala nanong tawag sina, internalize the Filipino nation, no. I think in a sense we got overconfident. You know, a miracle, call it divine intervention, was able to get rid of a dictator, and we can do it again. No? So, in many ways, what we have now is a return to dictatorship of a different kind. No? More, what's the term? A dictatorship that is, I don't have the exact word. I don't know, I'm at a loss for words now, but that is what we have in essence, a dictatorship of a different kind.
Is there such a thing as a benign dictatorship?
Well, I was thinking of that word, but it's more than... benign is not the accurate word. It's a very sophisticated, sneaky kind of dictatorship. Marcos was very direct. Diba? Now, the dictatorship that we have pretends to be a democratic measure. But all the elements of strong-handed dictatorship are there. You have the intimidation, the red tagging, the EJKs, the shortcuts, the abuse of the justice system, etc. All the elements are there except the formality of a declared dictatorship.
Mm-hmm. So, if you compare Marcos, it was actually the naked use of power. It was naked, but now we have. I don't know if it's correct to say that we have a sophisticated dictatorship, as you have pointed out, but now it's aided by social media, for example, or Facebook. It's a dictatorship, or it's abuse of power. I'm not referring only to the Philippines. It seems to be a worldwide trend. You have Trump in the U.S., they say, and then some other places. But Subong Angwa, it appears to be welcome.
That probably explains why it exists. No? Because in many ways, people are more than disappointed, frustrated with government. In many ways, government is failing the people, and therefore people want to see something better, or a change from the elite led democracy. So that explains the rise of populist dictators all over the world, because people have been looking for something better. But the truism always comes back to us. You give somebody enough power and he will end up abusing it. So that's the sad aspect about where we're headed. Kataas ang expectations ng pumuluyo about government. Government is not, how do you call this, is not meeting the expectations. And therefore, now we're beginning to look for another change. No? So, daw nagpabalik-balik lang kita. And my own personal theory has always been, we've been looking for the wrong solution. Meaning that solution of a dictatorship or an iron-fisted government that will take care of problems. It never does, no? And that's because we want other people to solve our problems for us. You're always looking for a knight in shining armor, except this time we have a black knight. You're always looking for a messiah, and except that this time we have a false messiah, full of promises, very little accomplishment. What we are failing at is developing ourselves as a people capable of defending democracy and making it stronger. Because we're very careless as citizens. We expect a lot, but we don't want to be responsible.
I love the way you use the pronoun we, kita. You don't say nga sila.
We
it's
as a
we
people, yeah.
as a people.
It's our failure.
Yes. Now, I would go to that. isa ka favorite philosopher ko was Anthony Bourdain. Of course, the guy is dead, no? But he said in one of his shows nga, democracy needs maintenance and due diligence is needed.
Yeah.
Di na kita ng problema. I mean, it's been 1986, it's been like 35 years, no? But ang issue of diligence, we haven't transitioned from an issue of rights. It was a struggle for rights during the time of Marcos.
Right.
But after that, we never learned about diligence
And responsibility.
and civic duties. For example, everyone on Facebook rants about corruption, but do we really care about understanding how government works, how the budget process works? I mean, you know.
Tamaran kita magtuon sa
Muna.
magtuon sang anong dapat himuon. No? Because, as I said, permilang tagapangita sang manugsolbar sang problema. Okay? And
Salvation by proxy, abi?
yeah, correct. No? I suppose this goes back to tribal times. You always had a tribal leader, di ba?
But hindi ayan tungod ba na sang influence ng Christianity that we had a savior?
In a sense, yes. No? So may ara kita sang ining psychology nga someone will save us or will solve the problem for us. So our failure is our lack of diligence, our failure to protect democracy by being responsible citizens, and by not knowing how to select the right government officials, no? Pili ta sa aton officials based on kung pilang mahatag sa aton, no? So we're failing as a people. That's why I'm also reluctant to pin the blame on political leadership because they are part of our failure. No? So we should really be looking inwards and asking ourselves, ano dapat kita so that we will finally not have the same problems that we've been getting all along, ang weak government, etc. No?
And then we include civil society,
Precisely.
supposedly alternative groups.
Oh, yeah. So for the last several years, some of my efforts really have been focused on trying to convince people that we need to strengthen ourselves as a people, as civil society, for example, capable of pushing back when you see government abuse, capable of defending democracy when we see it's being, damaged, capable of speaking out. No? The results have been, kung tanoon ko man, have been gratifying in a sense that there is a growing number of people who are making civil society stronger. No? But there's a lot, there's still a long way to go. There are still too many people who are indifferent, who are essentially refusing to take responsibility, who say that, it's government who should be solving our problems for us. So dako pa ni sang aton nga what do you call this, the challenge of maturing as a people, ara gyapon, no? Well, kung lantawon mo, pila pa malang ka, how old is our Philippine democracy? It's just, nagsugod kita sa, 1940.
After the war.
After the war, di ba?
Abutan ta kalimtan to na lang to. Let's start at 86.
Yeah, so we're a very young democracy. No? I guess that's one of the excuses that we can give. Kung daw bago pa lang kita, so we have a lot of learning to do.
Or balibad, abi na mo ta balibad.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we have a lot of maturing to do, no? And I think that's part of the challenge of the next president. The next president cannot be the knight in shining armor or the messiah, no? The next president must be a person who can inspire citizens to be responsible citizens, to be part of the solution and not the problem. No? The problem, however, is if you were going to run for president and you say that, we should all mature, we should all be part of the solution, we should all be fighting to defend our democracy, etc., 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 in the minds of our voters, ang ginapangita nila is somebody who will solve my problem for me. Kung magsiling ka nga, no, you have to solve your problems and then mabuligay kita. Ang iban masiling, hindi na among kinala namon, we want a problem solver.
Because people don't want this real sense of empowerment. They don't understand.
I think so, yeah. Yes, that's true. Though kulang kita sang sense of awareness for the essence of people empowerment. And I think the basic problem, no? So the next president must really make people understand we need to have an empowered citizenry capable of solving problems for themselves, capable of helping others, capable of safeguarding democracy, capable of fighting abusive governance or incompetent governance, di ba? Pero again, I hate to say it, but too many Filipinos do not think like that. Damo iya sang gusto yang ibutang na da siya kay siya na iya masulbar aton problema. Kung hindi mayo buyayawon ta siya dason nga eleksyon at dulan ka kwarta butuon mo manliwat.
And now I'm beginning to wonder if this is because of the sugar industry.
No, it's more than that. This is national.
Indeed. Because ang you pointed out kay Ina, it's a tribal trait. Which goes back to the peasant state of mind because may mga researchers, in fact there's a book about that, nga gin-study ang iningkanday Papa Isyo, Miguel de Entrinchirado, ang mga black popes.
Yeah.
And one thing stood out. These black popes promised two things, security and safety. Ang iban gambal nga mapunggan namon ang bagyo and people believe them. Hindi pagkawaton ang imo karabaw and people believe them. So it's that peasant state of mind, no? I don't know, which is too complex actually kung isipon mo.
Yeah. The basic tribal mentality is you always look for a strong leader who will protect you, who will fight for you.
The Vikings tabi.
Yeah, bisan sa aton like, sino pwede tamasay Lapu-Lapu.
Dato Marikudo abi.
Dato Marikudo, the datos, etc. May aragid permis ang charismatic leader who followers say will protect us, will fight for us, di ba? Will provide for us. So daw diri siguro kita naghalin. And then ang problema lang subong is because kahapos mag-abuse ng power. No? And we become victims of our own choices. Pili ta sa mga leaders who we think will be the solution, and then it turns out, they're still the problem. So, in essence, we're the victims of our own choices. Again, collectively, as an electorate, we end up making the wrong choices many times, and we're the victims of those choices.
But that's a voluntary surrender of rights.
Involuntary.
Voluntary, involuntary.
Well, I guess both, no? Voluntary in the sense that, you do something consciously, but in exchange for something. Involuntary because, again, siguro ara na sa aton mentality. From the tribal mentality, nga gapangita kita sang somebody.